Hi Dylan, I saw your question on Backstage and I'm so happy that you asked. I think you're gonna go really far, obviously, because you're taking action, you're asking questions, you're asking for networking, which is the way to go. So I would say I wouldn't worry too much about what are the red flags when picking up a project. Because you do have an interview process. So with, you have your audition and then you have emails back and forth with the production and you can immediately tell for yourself, are these people like really, really, really rude? Therefore, maybe don't work with them. Or if the project, for instance, is slightly racist or slightly misogynistic and that's like a big no for you, then there we go. That's all you need to know. Otherwise, why did my light go off? There we go. Otherwise, just keep going because the majority of the people in the industry are really nice, are really good. We're all sort of wanting to do stories that matter, that change people's lives, that make people laugh, that make people have a good time. So, the many, many projects that I've been in, I'd say like you just keep learning about the industry, you learn about yourself, you learn about other roles within a filmmaking team because you have the director of photography, you have the assistant, the camera assistant, you have hair and makeup, and there's so many different roles that it's just like, it's such a good opportunity of networking. So I'd say I live by the words that work begets work. So I would audition to pretty much everything unless it is an ism that I really dislike. Or for instance, some jobs are incredibly like, at this point of my life, before I would only do, I would only do free stuff because I was starting out and I wanted the experience and I just wanted to get out there and do stuff. And actually a lot of the student films tend to be really exciting because it's film students who are incredibly motivated and like in love with the film industry, and I think that's really precious and an incredible opportunity to work with people that are in this like mood and mindset. So I would highly recommend that. Just get out there and work as much as possible because in a couple of years time, these are the people that are entering the industry like with you. And for instance, like I did a short film I think a couple of years ago in LA, and we're still really, my director friends in LA, I fucking love them, like, and they're like, when are you coming back? Because I like we had a great time and I believe in their work as much as they believe in my work, and we had just such a phenomenal time on their set that it was just like I highly recommend that. Just be the most prepared you can be the opposite of a diva, which means be humble and work and help. So for instance, now I only work for paid stuff, and I made a mistake and I accepted a job that was unpaid, but it was for anyway. I was under circumstances that I was really excited, and then I realized it was unpaid, but I had already said yes. So I am a woman of my word. So I went to set and I helped them. They needed someone to hold the light, or they needed, aside from acting, we were like, okay, what if we do this, this camera angle? And first of all, I just had a great time working with them because they're awesome people. And the other thing, it was that's the whole point of making film. It's a collaborative venture. And I know that in LA, like, film sets get to be huge and everything, and there's so many different roles and stuff, but I think we can always help, especially with like indie projects. And the more that we fall in love with the story, the better our work is, and the better we like just have nice relationships with everyone on set. Okay. Yeah, so as I said, I would focus less on what are the red flags, and I would focus more on how can I do more work. I think like I at this point of my life, I quite like a day on set is a beautiful day. So I do apply to a lot of projects. Like my goal is 380 projects per day per month, which is like roughly 19 projects that I'm applying for per working day. But obviously, if I am on set one day, then I'm not applying to jobs usually because I'm busy. But what that means is that I'm putting a lot of auditions. So my schedule looks like Monday, a lot of auditions. Tuesday, more auditions. Wednesday, perhaps less auditions. Thursday, auditions. Friday, auditions. So what that means is that psychologically, I'm not stressed out because I know that I have tons of opportunities of acting throughout the week. And I wouldn't mind being part of all these other projects. However, when I first got into acting, and after drama school, I was only applying for jobs that I would kill for, which meant that my week was like Monday, no auditions, Tuesday, no auditions, Wednesday, one audition, and that I really like. And then Thursday, no auditions, Friday, no auditions, and for the next week, no auditions. So how does that mean? Like, how does that affect your psychology? It's like, first of all, I wasn't, we were in training because we had just been done with drama school. So we weren't training every day. We weren't auditioning every day. And then once the audition happened, it was not only just an audition, it was an audition that I would kill for. So it's like, that is just, you're hitting yourself, you're, shooting yourself in the foot, because psychologically, you want to take the stress away and just focus on the beauty of creating an amazing character and giving the gift of doing a really good audition for the people you're auditioning for. And hopefully have a great time, right? And give them a great time. But yeah, so I would say we are athletes of the arts. So every day that you're training, it just means that you're becoming a better person in your craft. Okay. I would love to find the artist. Yeah, just as I said, to work on student films. And then once you are getting a lot of paid stuff, just keep going up and then keep working and then just keep working. And oh, I love this idea. You're a train. Everyone's a train. Everyone's career is a train and you're on the driving seat, right? Or the point is, people in the industry want to hop onto a train that's already moving because it's going places, right? There's tons of trains at the station, but the only one that's moving is yours because you're putting the hard work. You ask this question on backstage. You're getting your headshots. You're submitting yourself for auditions. You're working with your friends on films. You're putting stuff online. You're reaching out to people, but more than anything, you're creating work. And that's when people want to hop on your train, acting, agents and managers, when it's already moving, because there's just too much risk involved to take a baby, like a baby train that you don't know if that train that's not moving will get moving and then suddenly be like, you know what, acting wasn't for me, let me just back down. And then which is fair enough, we can always do that. But then the agents and managers that have invested so much in you, they're like, ooh, love our investment is gone. But obviously it is ultimately you have to do what is best for you. But I would definitely say that you doing your own work is the best thing. That's a mistake I did after drama school. I had my agent and I was like, oh, okay, so do I have to just I'll just wait here because I don't want to, piss them off. They're doing their job. And whereas actually, yeah, the whole point is right now I have another agent and we are, because I moved to LA and then I'm back in London. And then I do work, I submit myself to projects as if I didn't have an agent. Because that way she's doing the best she can for me. I'm doing the best I can for me. Nobody cares more about your career than yourself. So yes, keep working. What hasn't worked for you? I think I mentioned that. Red flags to look out before taking a role. Again, that's pretty much if the crew is really rude or there are some isms that you don't like. Where you are in my acting journey. I went to drama school in the UK because I always thought that just actors that trained here were phenomenal. And so that's what I decided to do. Learn everyone's experience. Yeah, if you have any more questions or whatnot, again, I would suggest just read. There's so many like acting books. If I could recommend one specifically, I just put it back on my shelf, but it's called Warner Loughlin's Acting Technique. You know what? I'll bring it because it's worth you seeing what it looks like. So it's this. You're in LA, so you're in luck. They have a studio there, so get to their classes. They're phenomenal, I would say. They have Amy Adams, Ryan Reynolds, Sarah, anyway, it's Donna in Suits, and I freaking love her, and I always thought she was an amazing actress. And then I was finishing the book, and I was like, oh my god, that's you. So yeah, it's just phenomenal. She had a whole blurb about it anyway. There we go. Sarah Rafferty. There we go. Anyway, I freaking love her. And the technique. But as I said, there's so many, and going to drama school allowed us to delve into so many different techniques. So it's like you end up having a toolbox. There is no one method that is absolutely the best, although I would say if I had to just go with one for the rest of my life, it would probably be this one. Because this one is about using your imagination, whereas a lot of method, which in my opinion isn't that helpful, is about like bringing up your trauma and your past. And it's like, that's not acting, that's like regurgitating trauma. And I mean, acting is like behaving under imaginary circumstances. So it's like imaginary circumstance, that's the definition of acting. So I just think that it's a much safer formula if one, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I just think it's a much safer formula for you to create a whole character in your imagination and go fully. And surely the times that I have worked with this, like I think I've produced some of my best work by just imagination. So, and we actors are gifted, I think, or maybe it's because we work with our imagination for so long. So best of luck, Dylan, you're gonna smash it. And if you have any questions or whatever, just let me know. Happy to help.